Hi there, folks. When it comes to personality, who is in the driver's seat? I mean, who is really pulling the strings with regards to our behavior? Well, I'm talking about core beliefs. These are rules and agreements that we have developed over our life experiences, and I'll give you some practical examples. Well, firstly, they affect three main relationships: our relationship with ourselves, relationship with other people, and indeed our relationship to the bigger picture, the world itself. So let me give you some practical examples. An example in terms of a core belief about myself is I'm too fat, or I'm not good enough. I fail whenever I try something new. You know, they can be negative. They can be positive core beliefs, but we're going to just talk about the negative ones. And what these do is these core beliefs kind of regulate how I feel about myself, and indeed they affect my emotions quite deeply. An example of a core belief in regards to my relationships with other people, it could be a core belief around, you know, I have to give up on my own needs in any relationship so the other person doesn't reject me. What that can lead to is people-pleasing behavior. And another one is, you know, when I love somebody, I will get hurt. In the workplace, a core belief around relationships with other people could be with our boss, for example. You know, my boss doesn't appreciate me and thinks I'm incompetent. Now, these core beliefs are subconscious. They're very subtle. And what happens is they will affect my relationship with my boss, for example. So when he comes to me and talks to me, I may not really be open enough, or I might be shying away, and that will really impact how he sees me. In terms of our core beliefs around the world, the bigger picture could be, you know, things like life is hard, life is tough, and again, that really impacts on our levels of happiness. So those are just some examples. There are many core beliefs out there. There are as many as I can count for myself, and that is why working with personality types really helps, because it helps you identify these core beliefs and it helps you notice them. Now, our core beliefs, they work 24/7. They are operating the whole time. And without awareness, what can happen is they become our puppeteers, and we need to break these strings. You know, in order for us to make changes to our behavior, we've got to cut the strings of the puppeteers. So how do we do this? Well, one of the first things to do, folks, is to raise one's level of awareness and to start really paying attention to our behavior and noticing our thoughts, noticing, you know, why we are thinking that way, but most importantly, asking ourselves, you know, what is the core belief I have behind this? What is the rule or agreement I have behind my behavior? The first one is to ask, you know, is what I'm thinking, or is this core belief true? And, you know, we take on these core beliefs as if they're truth. Why? Because it happened in the past. We believe that is how the world is. Because somebody said something to me that really made me feel less about myself, then, and it may have happened 2 or 3 times. If you're bullied at school, you start to actually feel that, and you say, well, I'm not good enough. But the question, we never question it. We never say, is this true? Is this really true? You may say, well, yes, it is, because it's always happened in the past. So then you go to the second question: is it absolutely 100% true? In fact, has it always happened? And this is an important question to ask, because our core beliefs, these puppeteers, will create a filter between us and our experiences. In other words, they want to stay alive. They don't like being threatened. So what they do is they filter out all the stuff that goes against them, and they will make sure that you only see the stuff that keeps them alive. In other words, the experiences that feed them, that you go, yes, you see, that is, I am not good enough. So by asking, is it absolutely true, we ask ourselves, has it always happened? Now, when we say always, it implies there's never been something different. And even if it's one thing that happened against it, you can never say always. But be that as it may, if you still think it's absolutely 100% true, then you ask yourself the third question. What happens when that core belief takes over? You know, what happens when I notice my behavior and how it's manipulating me? And when we start seeing the outcomes, we may even notice that it's creating the same outcome again and again. And that is why we say to ourselves, why does this keep happening to me? It's because that core belief, that puppeteer, is recreating the same scenario so that it can stay alive. And finally, the fourth very powerful question is, who or what would I be without that core belief? Who or what would I be without that thought? Now imagine, who or what would I be if I felt I was good enough? Who or what would I be if I felt I was really good at what I did in my workplace? Who or what would I be if I felt my boss really appreciated who I am, and really, even though he or she didn't say anything to me, really saw me as someone very valuable in the workplace. Now we might have very different behaviors, so we have to question, we have to be curious, and then in our own way let go. But I'll talk about that in a totally different vlog. So yes, those are just some thoughts, folks, and until we chat again, take care and stay aware.